Good morning. Good morning. Greetings from BMS College of Engineering, Bangalore. This is the fifth module on analog filters. We have seen the complete design, the design process, the design methods, the design equations, how to convert the given frequency specifications h of omega to the order of the filter n, and from the order of the filter how to get the transfer function h of s, and from h of s how to perform frequency transformation and get the desired filter. And we also saw how to implement using components the filter. So whatever filter, we are all confident of designing any filter to meet any given specification. So today we shall see another type of analog filter, that is the Chebyshev filter. So we will take up the Chebyshev filter. The Butterworth filter we know does not have ripples either in the pass band or in the stop band. It's flat both in the pass band as well as the stop band. The Chebyshev filters, on the other hand, they are characterized by a frequency response h of omega, which will either have ripples in the pass band or in the stop band. So this is one set of filters wherein we have the ripples in the pass band, or we have another type of the Chebyshev filter, which wherein we will have, there are no ripples in the pass band, but the stop band has ripples. For a given order n, the transition width for the Butterworth filter is supposed to be larger than that of a Chebyshev filter. So Chebyshev filter, if transition width has to be extremely narrow, we can go in for the Chebyshev filter. Now, when we have ripples in the pass band and no ripples in the stop band, these are known as the type 1 Chebyshev filter. The type 1 Chebyshev filter. And similarly, on the other hand, when we have ripples in the stop band, the Chebyshev filter is known as the type 2 Chebyshev filter. And in both cases, they are, if I consider this as my magnitude spectrum, say this is say 1. The ripples, let us say, they die down at some point, and that is given by, say, 1 by epsilon square. And this happens at a cutoff frequency omega c equal to 1, and at some other larger frequency omega r, let us say the magnitude becomes 1 by a. So if I look at the filter, I have the parameters n, I have epsilon, I have a, and I have omega r. And of these 4 parameters, if I know any 3, I can compute the 4. So these 4 parameters actually define the performance of the Chebyshev filter. And these parameters are similar. Similarly, even in the type 2 filter, we have this as 1 by root of 1 plus epsilon square. And this is say omega r. This has a cutoff at omega c, and this is 1 by a. Now, unlike the Butterworth filter, the Chebyshev filter design equations are not that easy. However, for completeness, we shall have a quick glance into the Chebyshev filter, and when those interested can definitely take up for further reading. And the reference is, of course, the book on digital signal processing by Rabiner and Gold. So now we will look into the design specifications for the for the type 1 Chebyshev filter. Type 1 Chebyshev filter. The design equations go in this manner. If I have a passband ripple, say the passband ripple given in dB. Let me call that as say PBR, and let us say the transmission ratio. The transmission ratio is given by 1 by omega r, and let us say the stop band loss. Stop band loss again given in dB. dB. Let me call this as say stop band loss, SBL. So then to begin with, the design equations are, of course, omega r, the transition ratio is going to be 1 by the transition ratio. And then we have from PBR, the passband ripple, we can get the epsilon. From this we can get epsilon, and similarly using the stop band loss, we can get A. And once we have the passband loss and the stop band loss mentioned, we can then proceed to compute the order of the filter. So before that, we need to get G, which is given by square root of A square minus 1 by epsilon square. And then the order of the filter N is given by log 10 G plus square root of A square minus 1 divided by log 10 omega r plus square root of omega r square minus 1. So I'll get N from here. Once I get N, then I need to compute gamma. I get gamma given by, of course, N we will choose an integer which satisfies this equation, the smallest integer which satisfies the above requirement. We then compute gamma, which is given by 1 plus square root of 1 plus epsilon square divided by epsilon, a whole to the power of 1 by n. And once we get gamma, we can then get sine hyperbolic phi, that is given by gamma minus gamma inverse by 2, and cos hyperbolic phi given by gamma plus gamma inverse by 2. And later on, once we get these two, we can get sigma k, which is given by minus sine hyperbolic phi into sine of 2k minus 1 into pi by 2n, while omega k is given by cos hyperbolic phi into cos of 2k minus 1 into pi by 2n. And the poles of the Chebyshev filter is given by sigma k plus j omega k, and once again k going from 1 to n, as in the case of the Butterworth filter. The type 1 Butterworth filter is an all pole filter. So H of S is given by some k naught by S minus S1 into S minus S2 and so on into S minus Sn. So an nth order Chebyshev filter will have n poles, and all poles lie on the left half of the S plane. In the Butterworth filter, we saw that the poles were lying on the unit circle on the left half of the S plane, whereas here in the Chebyshev filter, the poles lie on an ellipse on the left half of the S plane. So this is how the design equations are for a type 1 Chebyshev filter. So let's take an example. Let's take an example for the type 1 Chebyshev filter. Say that the specifications are, say, let us say the pass band ripple is given as 2 dB, and let us say the stop band loss is given as 30 dB, and let us say the transition ratio, which is 1 by omega r, is given by, say, 0.781. Let us say these are our given specifications. So now the first step would be to use this expression and compute epsilon, and then compute A, and then compute omega r. So because of the series of steps involved in designing, I have just typed in these in a code, and that will help us evaluate the observe the design. So now I have the type 1 Chebyshev filter. So we are given the passband ripple, the stop band loss, and the passband cutoff frequencies. Of course, we always design for a cutoff frequency of omega c equal to 1. Then using frequency transformation, we can transform the this prototype filter to any other filter of desired frequency. So given passband ripple is 2, transition ratio is 0.781, and stop band loss is 30. Now let us compute epsilon, A and omega r. So let me just run this part of the code. I mean, walking through the program, I have this. Then afterwards, I have G, whatever we have defined. G is square root of a square minus 1 by epsilon square. Then we have n given by log 10, the expression. And then, of course, I'm converting it to an integer, so I round it. And then I compute gamma given by 1 plus square root of 1 plus epsilon square divided by epsilon whole to the power of 1 by n. Then I compute sine hyperbolic phi and cos hyperbolic phi, which is given in terms of gamma. Then for k running from 1 to n, I compute the sigma k, the real component of my pole, and omega k, the complex component of my pole. And then my poles are now given by sigma k plus j omega k. I have my location of the poles. And now once I have the location of the poles, I can always get the polynomial formed by the poles. And of course, the imaginary component will be 0, but sometimes because of computational approximations and limitations, we may end up with a very small component. So I'm ensuring that my polynomial is real. And then I try to, since the first order, I mean the type 1 Chebyshev filter is all pole filter. So my numerator, I set it as 1, and my denominator is whatever we have computed by getting the poles. And then I can get the pole 0 plot of my design filter. And just to for verification purpose, I am also trying to use my inbuilt MATLAB command, the Chebyshev command, which will give me the numerator and the denominator polynomials for a given order, given the passband ripple in dB and the cutoff frequency. And once I put an S, then it ensures that we're getting an analog filter. So this is getting the polynomial using the inbuilt MATLAB command. Whereas first we're trying to get it by our equations, the design equations. And we are also trying to get the pole 0 plot. So first, as a first step, we will just see what are these values. So let me first run this part of the command. So for the given value, so when I have my passband ripple as 2 dB, I'm getting my epsilon as 0.764. For a stop band loss of 30 dB, that is our design specifications, I'm getting A as 31.6, and the transition ratio was given as 0.78, and for that I get my omega r as 1.28. So now let's run the complete program. I'll get G and N, or okay, we can try running this part of the code as well. So let us see what is G. I get G as 41.3, and let us see what is N. N is 6.0275, and hence I need to round it. So if I round the I use this. Let me run that. Then I'll get my N, and let us see what is N now. So my 6.25, it gets rounded to 6. So N is now 6. Now I'm going to run, let me run the complete program. So I'll compute gamma, cos phi, sine hyperbolic phi, cos hyperbolic phi. Then the real and imaginary part, that is sigma k and omega k of my poles, the N poles. And then I get the polynomial. So let's run and check the program. Yes, so these are the location of our poles. We have nth order system, so we have n poles, and if you see, all of them lie on the left half of the S plane, and now they are on an ellipse. This is by getting the pole zero plot by using the inbuilt MATLAB command. On the other hand, now here we have computed our the pole zero plot by using our computation, and this is what we get, and we see that both are identical. And let me look at the command window. So I'm trying to, this is my poles, my denominator, the location of my poles, what we have here. And then we have the denominator polynomial, which takes we find that even though I have my polynomial, you see the imaginary component at almost 0. So that is why forcing the imaginary component to 0, we are not introducing any error. So if I look at my denominator that is computed using our computation, this is what I get my polynomial, the 6th order Chebyshev filter, and this is for by using MATLAB, and both have identical results. Now let me just change the specifications, and let us see what happens. So for these specifications that we have taken, when I have my passband ripple as 2 dB and stop band loss as 30 dB, we got this, and we got the order of the filter. In this case, we, of course, epsilon turned out to be 0.764, and A was 31.6, and omega R is 1.28. And in this case, now what happens is I am getting my order of the filter as 6, and my denominator coefficient, if I look at my denominator, I got my denominator as 1, 0.7, 1.74, 1, 0.7, 1.74, 0.86, 0.77, 0.866, 0.77, 0.21, and 0.05. 0.21 and 0.05, and hence the filter to meet the above specifications is given by some DC gain k naught by, it's an nth order filter system, so n to the power of 6, n to the power of 6 plus 0.7 s to the power of 5 plus 1.74 s to the power of 4 plus 0.866 s cube plus 0.77 s square plus 0.21 s plus 0.05. This is my design Chebyshev filter to meet the given specifications, and we got a 6th order system. So now let us change the specification slightly. So let us retain few values, and let's just change some of them. So let us retain the passband ripple. Say passband ripple as 2 dB, and let us also retain the transition ratio transition ratio as 0.78. But let us change our stop band loss. Stop band loss was 30 dB. Now let us make it as 10 dB. So when I reduce my stop band loss, I expect a decrease in the order of my Chebyshev filter. So let us just put these values and see what is the order of the filter. So I'll retain my pass band ripple as 2 dB, transition ratio as 0.781, and stop band loss as say 10 dB. And now let us see what is my order of the filter. Yes. And let us see the design filter. So once again, this is the pose zero plot by using the inbuilt MATLAB command. We are getting 3 poles. So this shows that now on reducing my attenuation, I have now ended up with a third order system. And let us see what is our polynomial. Our denominator is 1, 0.73, 1.02, 0.32. So now when I reduced it, now my n became 3 and my denominator is given by 1, 0.73, 1.02, 0.73, 1.02, and 0.32. And hence my Chebyshev filter is now given by some DC gain divided by S cube plus 0.73 S square plus 1.02 S plus 0.32. This is my type 1 Chebyshev filter, third order. Now let me try one more. Let me change the transition ratio and try to see what happens to the order of the filter. So let's take another example. Let's take another example. Now once again I will keep my pass band ripple as 2 dB, and I will keep my stop band loss as say 30 dB. But now I will change my transition ratio. Transition ratio that is given by 1 by omega r. I will now make my omega r little larger value. Let me make it as say 2. Omega r is 2 means 1 by 2 is a 0.5. So now let us see what is going to be the order of the filter and the coefficient and the design. So I will retain my stop band loss as my 30 dB, my first example. My transition ratio, I will make it as 5. And let us see what is the order of the filter we get now. So once again, we have a third order filter, third order system, and the design polynomial is also same, 0.73, 1.02, etc. So we're getting the same filter. Where I have increased my transition band, but I've retained the same loss, and hence my order of the filter still remains as 3, and I'm getting the same polynomial. 1 point. Let me check if I get the same 0.73. Yes, 0.73, 1.02, and everything. So all values are same. So in this case also my in this case the denominator polynomial remains the same, and I'm getting the same filter. So I can end up with a similar filter because I have increased my transition ratio but reduced my attenuation. So let me take up one more example. Let's take up one more example, wherein I will continue to keep my pass band loss as say 2 dB. I mean pass band ripple as 2 dB. Say my transition ratio remains omega r as say 1.28, which was a transition ratio of 0.78. and let us say the stop band loss. We started, our first example was 30 dB. Instead of 30 dB, now let me make it as a 60 dB. So now what I have written the first, I have increased my attenuation. So now our first example had an order of n equal to 6. Now we expect an n, the order of the filter to be larger than 6. So let us see this example. Let us see what is the order of the filter and what is the polynomial. So I'm keeping my passband ripple as 2 dB, my transmission ratio as 1.28, and stop band loss as 60 dB. So 0.781 transition ratio, and my stop band loss, now I'm going to make it a 60 dB. And once I do this, what will happen? I expect my order of the filter to be high. So omega r is 1.28, or my transition ratio is 1 by 1.28, which is 0.781. So let's run and see the result. Yes. So as expected, now my order of the filter is very very high. So I have 2, 4. So the order of the filter is high, and this is my poles. The poles, all the poles are lying on an ellipse, and on the left half of the S plane. And let us see my N. It's an order filter of order 11. It's an 11th order filter. We will not write down the values, but it is 1.69, 2.99, 1.72, 3.25, etc. up to 0.001. So n equal to 11. So my denominator, this is giving me a filter of order 11. So we have seen how the specifications for the Chebyshev filter affects the design. So we have 4 parameters. So to summarize the type 1 Chebyshev filter, I have ripples in the pass band and no ripples in the stop band. This is my omega, and this is say 1. This is 1 by 1 plus epsilon square, and I have 1 by a, and this is omega r, and in my passband ripples ends at 1. So this is mod of h of omega, and so we have these by varying these parameters. So epsilon, a, omega r, these will decide my order of the filter n. And once I have n, by using that series of equations, we can get the location of the poles sk given by sigma k plus j omega k, and this is a type 1 filter, and again it has only poles. It's an all pole filter. On the other hand, the type 2 filter, the type 2 Chebyshev filter, type 2 Chebyshev filter have slightly different design equations, and this is characterized by no ripples in the pass band and ripples in the stop band. This is say 1 by square root of 1 plus epsilon square, and this is omega r, and this is 1 by a, and this is again 1. So here we have the ripple in the pass band. So this is epsilon, and epsilon is a pass band cutoff related to the pass band cutoff. Then we have a that is related to the attenuation at frequency omega r, and we start with the low pass cutoff of 1. the design equations for the type 2 filter. The design equations for the type 2 filter. The equations for computing the epsilon, yeah, they hold good. They are same. They are identical. So let me get that set here. These three are valid even for the type 2. And similarly, the formula for computing n is also valid. So the initial design equations are similar for the type 2. However, gamma is different. For a type 2 filter, gamma is given by a plus square root of a square minus 1 whole to the power of 1 by n. And of course, this again remains the same. Sine hyperbolic phi is given by gamma minus gamma inverse by 2. And cos hyperbolic phi is given by gamma plus gamma inverse by 2. But of course, gamma is different. The way we compute gamma is different for a type 2 filter. And once I get sine hyperbolic phi and cos hyperbolic phi, I can then compute alpha k and beta k. Alpha k is given by minus sine hyperbolic phi sine of 2k minus 1 into pi by 2n. This is something, this was also identical, but in the earlier case it was sigma k, and beta k is given by cos hyperbolic phi into cos of 2k minus 1 into pi by 2n. And then we get the poles. Location of the poles is given by sigma k plus j omega k, where sigma k is given by omega r alpha k by alpha k square plus beta k square, while omega k is given by minus omega r beta k by alpha k square plus beta k square. And so I get the location of the poles, and this filter also has zeros present, and the location of the zeros is given by they all lie on the imaginary axis, omega r divided by cos of 2k minus 1 by 2n, 2k minus 1 into pi by 2n. So this is my location of the poles and zeros. So my h of s is going to have some zeros. So s minus z1, s minus z2, and so on, s minus zn, divided by my poles, s minus s1 into s minus s2, and so on up to s minus sn. So this is a transfer function of the type 2 Chebyshev filter, which has both poles as well as zeros. And let's take the same example. Say for a type 2 example, we'll take once again the same, say passband ripple, and design statement. The problem statement is to design a type 2 Chebyshev filter to have a 2 dB attenuation at the cutoff frequency of omega c equal to 1. And the transition ratio 1 by omega r is again say 0.781, and the stop band loss is again say 30 dB. So this is our first specification that we had seen for the order of the filter being n equal to 6. So let us see, and once again, since the set of equations is very series of steps being involved, I have typed in the commands, and let us take up the type 2 Chebyshev filter. And so we'll the pass band attenuation actually 2 dB. The transition ratio is 0.781 and the stop band loss is 30 dB. And so we compute epsilon a and omega r as earlier. We also compute g as earlier, and n the order of the filter is same. Now till here all the design equations are same. Now the difference comes in. Now the gamma is different now. Gamma is now given by a plus square root of a square minus 1 whole to the power of 1 by n. Sine hyperbolic phi, cos hyperbolic phi. Then I get alpha k, beta k. Then I get my real and imaginary component of my poles, sigma k and omega k. And my poles are given by sigma k plus j omega k. Taking these location of the poles, I then get the polynomial. And similarly, I have my zeros. My zeros are located at j omega r divided by cos 2k minus 1 into pi by 2n. So I get my zeros, and then I have my poles and zeros. I have a numerator and a denominator polynomial, and then I get the pole zero plot by using the z-plane command. I also try to get the values by using the inbuilt MATLAB command and get the pole zero plot. So let's just run the type 2 Chebyshev filter and see the design. So this is my Chebyshev filter, the type 2 Chebyshev filter. See, now the location of the poles have changed. They're still on the ellipse, but the location has changed. And we have, in addition, it was a filter of order 6. So the order of the filter does not change for given specification. The order remains the same. Only thing is here we also have zeros, and all the zeros lie on the imaginary axis. This is a result we got by using the inbuilt MATLAB command, and this is what we get by our design equations, and we get the same result. And if I want to look at the poles and the numerator and the denominator polynomial, so my numerator is 1, 29, 1, 0, 29, 129, 141. And this is my denominator. So now if I want to write my transfer function, my numerator is now given by 1, 0, 29, 0, 129, 0, 141. 129, 0, 141. Whereas my denominator is now given by, after computing my poles and zeros and forming the expression 1, 4.5, 1, 4.5, 10.5, 15.2, 15.2, then 10 and 4.4. 10 and 4.4. And hence my designed transfer function h of s is now given by s to the power of 6 plus 29 s to the power of 4 plus 129 s square plus 141. This is my numerator, and my denominator is now s to the power of 6 plus 4.5 s to the power of 5 plus 10.5 s to the power of 4 plus 15.2 s cube plus 10 s square plus, I missed out a number, 1, 4.5, 10, 15.2, 15.4, 15.2, and there is one more, 15.4. So 15.4 S square plus 10S plus 4.4. So this is my Chebyshev type 2 filter. So of course there are other types of filters as well. We have the Bessel filters and we also have the elliptic filters, but we shall not take them up. Our focus is on Butterworth filter, but since most curriculum also have the Chebyshev filter, thought of including that as well. In the next module, we shall see how to, we have now learned how to design an analog filter H of S to meet the given specifications. So we shall see how to transform these H of S into H of Z, and then we will have the desired IIR filter. So we shall move into design of IIR filters in the next module. Thank you.